Good morning everyone. Today I am going to discuss about the topic Define Heroes and Allegories. In this topic, we are going to know the different definitions of the gods, their counterpart in the Roman mythology, and also the comparison between the Roman gods and the Greek gods. So let's proceed. For our first god, we have Zeus, and his counterpart in the Roman mythology is known as Jupiter. They are both known as king of the gods, and also the god of sky, weather, and thunderbolt, and also justice. Their wife is, for Zeus, his wife is Hera, and for Jupiter, his wife is Juno. They both overthrown their father Saturn for Jupiter and Cronus for Zeus. And the difference between them is Jupiter is also known as the god of light and victory, and Zeus was not. As we all know, Zeus drew lots with his brother Poseidon and Hades, and Zeus became the god of the sky, Poseidon became the god of the sea, and Hades became the god of the underworld. Our next god is Poseidon, and he is also associated with Neptune, the Roman god. Both of them are known as the god of the sea. Their wife is Amphitrite for Poseidon, Salasha for Neptune. But the difference between them is Neptune was also considered as the god of the water. But then the Romans, when they adopted the mythology of the Greeks, they expanded his kingdom to the whole sea. Our third god is Hades, and he is also associated with Pluto in the Roman mythology. They are known as the god of the underworld, and they are the ruler over the dead. They also abducted Proserpina in the Roman mythology and Persephone in the Greek mythology. Our fourth god is Apollo. In the Roman mythology, they kept his name the same. So still, he is Apollo. He is known as the god of light, healing, and prophecy. But in the Greek mythology, he is more known as the healing god and prophecy god rather than being the god of light. And in the Roman mythology, he is known as the god of light rather than being the god of healing and prophecy. Our fifth is Hera. She is also associated with the Roman goddess Juno. They were both known as the goddess of childbirth, family, and marriage. As being the wife of the king of the gods, they are also known as the queen of the gods. And the difference between them, Juno was also known as the goddess of the moon. Our sixth is Hephaestus, and he is associated with Vulcan in the Roman mythology. Hephaestus was known as the god of blacksmith. He can do anything that anyone desired, such as sword and shield. Next is Vulcan. Vulcan in the Roman mythology is known as the god of destructive fire. Being the god of destructive fire, he needs to live outside of the city, away from the mortals, so that he will not be able to harm them. The difference between them is Vulcan was not known as the god of blacksmith. Our seventh is the Greek goddess Artemis. She is associated with Diana in the Roman mythology. They were both known as the goddess of childbirth, wild places, and hunt. Their parents are Zeus or Jupiter and Leto or Latona. They also have their brother Apollo. Nothing is different between the two. Our eighth is Demeter in the Greek mythology. In the Roman mythology, she is known as Ceres. They were both considered as the goddess of rain and fertility. But the difference between the two is Ceres was also known as the goddess of the earth, and goddess of rights of the dead. Our ninth is Athena, and she is associated with the goddess Minerva in the Roman mythology. They were both known as the goddess of wisdom and war. Also, they belong to the Virgin goddesses, similar to Hestia or Vesta and Artemis or Diana. The difference between the two is that Minerva was more known as the goddess of crops and arts, and hardly associated with war. Because in the Roman mythology, they already have the Roman goddess of war. She is known as Bellona and Enyo in the Greek mythology. Our tenth is Dionysus, and in the Roman mythology, he is associated with Bacchus. They were both considered as the god of wine, and Dionysus' parents are Zeus and Time, and Bacchus' parents are Semele and Jupiter. When Zeus granted their mother's wishes, they were killed. To save his child, Dionysus or Bacchus was kept in Zeus or Jupiter's side in order to save them. Our 11th is Ares, and he is associated with Mars in the Roman mythology. They were both known as the god of war, but Ares was not the favorite gods of the Greeks because he was more on battle and bloodshed. On the other hand, Mars was the most important god, second to Jupiter. Our 12 is Hermes. Hermes is also associated with Mercury in the Roman mythology. They were both known as the messenger of the gods, god of the merchants, traders, and thieves. There is nothing different between the two. Last, our 13th god is Aphrodite. She is associated with Venus in the Roman mythology. Aphrodite was more known as the goddess of love, beauty, and sex. Venus was more known, on the other hand, as the goddess of fertility, victory, and prostitution. So, to conclude, some of the gods have difference between them, and some of the gods do not have. That's all. Thank you for listening.